We have what a last 24 hours we have had. What's good, everybody? Welcome into the Coach and Company podcast. We are here every single weekday around 11:15 a.m. Eastern time. If you're watching us on demand, thank you for that as well. All right. So last night, the Indiana Hoosiers, they are your new national champions. They turned it around in 2 years. They are the team that only one college in the history of football has more losses than Indiana. And now they are the toast of the town. And literally on my phone right now, I have a video of Fernando Mendoza at the Miami nightclub 11. Boy, how times have changed, how college kids celebrate their wins. Joining me today, my man, Mikey P. And Mikey, if you were a college student and you just won in Miami, what are the odds that the head coach would allow you and the team to go to a nightclub instead of heading back home? Because I don't remember ever seeing this before.
Yeah, me either. To answer your question, Coach, I wouldn't be given the directions or where anyone was going. I would be hey, we'll let you know in about an hour. And then I'd be sitting in my room going, I swear they must have forgotten my number or something. What a game. What a performance. And let's not bury the lead. Yes, he went out and he went clubbing, but like a professional, like a true man that Fernando Mendoza is. What did he do when he woke up this morning? Updated his LinkedIn to say 2025 college football national champion.
This dude is something. This dude is something, isn't he? By the way, his brother, breaking news. If we didn't 1000% know that Fernando Mendoza was going to enter the NFL draft, well, his younger brother has entered the transfer portal. Today? Yeah, today. He has 3 years of eligibility. I don't think he's going to be the Division I prize, Mikey, that his brother was, but he might be a low-level Division I quarterback. Does this cement for you that Mendoza will go into the draft and against all of my screaming and all of my yelling be the number one pick in the draft?
Well, right now, I really don't want to disagree with you on anything. So if you say he's going to be picked 1,000, I'm going to be like,
yeah. You should.
No, but I do believe Fernando Mendoza is going into the draft. It's a very weak quarterback class. I believe he is the number one pick. And because we have on this podcast talked about my location, Southwest Missouri, middle of nowhere, when you say smaller schools, I just think of like University of Tulsa. Come on over, Alberto Mendoza. You would be great in Tulsa.
Last night was kind of a tale of two halves. You had, I really thought, and this is the beauty of betting a total. It went off at 40. If you bet it early in the day, it was 48. If you waited, it went down to 47. At halftime, I think the live number was 30, something like that. They scored 38 points in the second half to hit the over by 1. And what an amazing last 15 minutes to watch each quarterback, to watch each offense be able to make those. I mean, there was no short drives. They were all 60, 70, 80 yards. And then to kind of put the cherry on the sundae, so to speak, Cignetti decides to go for it up 3. Gutsy call at that time. Goes for it, 4th down run. It was kind of a pinball, and Mendoza dives in. And I do like, some people are not a big fan of Fowler calling football. He was awesome hosting college. I don't mind him. And the way ESPN shoots it, and then him on the call, and then they've got the cameras in the end zone where the players run up and they do the whole thing. It was super exciting for every single touchdown because it got more and more and more exciting as the game was going on.
Yeah, I agree. You know, my favorite moment in the actual game, though, was on Miami's final drive. And I know we sing the praises of Curt Cignetti, but on Miami's final drive, Indiana has one timeout left. I don't want to say they were kind of scattered all across the field, but you knew their defense needed a reset. So Cignetti calls a timeout, trying to slow down Miami's offense, and he's out maybe 5 yards onto the field, and he's pointing down to the ground, just saying, meet me right here. Let's get it together. And I looked at that moment, Coach, and I go, that's a national champion right there. That is how you build championship level programs. He has his players' respect. and he knows what they need. It's a very small thing, but it was something that stood out the most to me.
No, I saw the same thing with Sean McVay the other day as well, and I think what we've learned, and maybe I'm hoping too much, but with all this nonsense that's going on in college football, looking at a guy like Kurt Signetti, who didn't get a big time job until he was in his 60s, and he had a lot of jobs, but not like the multi-million dollar. He's on a $90 million plus contract right now. This is like him winning the lottery at the end of a career. This never happens. But I'm hoping that because of this, and I'm hoping that because of how Indiana got it done and the players that they had, they're certainly going to get some high level players now. But I hope he doesn't go away from the philosophy of high school kids. Let's develop them. JUCOs come in. We got some grown ass men. Maybe we get that occasional 5-star. But the other part that I'm hoping is that they can kind of put the NIL thing back in what should be normal circumstances. Because I think a lot of other big coaches and big schools are probably looking at that last night going, maybe we don't need to spend $8 million on a quarterback. Maybe we try to wait for it, develop the players. And I'm hoping that other big time coaches, because what did Nick Saban say last night? In the last 2 weeks, he has said the exact same thing. Do you think because of this, maybe we'll get a change sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I think there's 2 points here. Number one, on the NIL situation, because there's a lot of people hitting the transfer portal. I know the numbers in the multiple thousands, right? 3,000, 4,000. A lot of these kids are going, oh, wait, the grass isn't greener. And these schools are coming back and going, yeah, I mean, you could come back, but your spot's taken. So there goes everything. And that is not something that is easy to understand as a 18, 19, 20, sometimes 25, in the case of Carson Beck, year old kid. Like these athletes are not going to understand what one vast decision could do for the majority of their career. And the reason I think Indiana can change, Coach, as great as they were this season, as great as they landed some players in the transfer portal, culture, because all these top players they're getting, Kurt Signetti is going to go, yeah, I know you were the number one wide receiver in the transfer portal, and we got you. We're not going to cater to you. Welcome to my system. I think Indiana could really change things.
It's funny because I equate it to the NBA draft. And I've always wanted a story, although it'd be a little probably sad, but there's always north of 500 kids that come out of college basketball, and there's only 2 rounds. There's only 64 picks. And so that means there's over 400 kids that the phone never rings, and then they try to change rules, allow them to come back. And now in football, you bring up a great point. I saw the other day that at one point there were 10,000 kids in this portal. And I think a lot of them look at the big names and they look at the numbers and they say, that can be me. And then what happens is they get in there and they realize, oh shit, there's only 2 spots that are paying 5 million. Oh, there's only 3 spots that are paying. Whoa, whoa, what happened to all this money? Because let's face it, Mikey, that's the only reason they're going into the portal. They think they're going to hit a home run. And now these coaches are realizing, I don't want this kid. I don't want him to come back unless he's a quarterback, then he can. And I hope that they start to have some better communication, some better leadership. And parents say, son, you're in a good spot at Ole Miss. Or you're in a, I mean, did you see how many kids Ole Miss lost the other day because of the nonsense that they released the numbers of NIL? And there's certain players that are pissed that new players are making more money. And there's rumors that that was done by some coaches who left and went to LSU. I mean, this is how diabolical these situations have become, haven't they? It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's a case by case. That's the unfortunate side. You say 10,000. I don't want to go through 10,000 cases. Law enforcement doesn't ever want to go through 10,000 cases of anything. So when I look at the transfer report, I look at a kid in the FCS championship from Illinois State, had over 13 catches, over 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. Fascinating game. That kid should absolutely capitalize on the biggest stage he's ever had, making the most of it if there's a D1 program that wants him. Now, if you think you're going to go from Wisconsin Whitewater as a backup offensive tackle to Toledo and try to earn a spot, and then you go, oh, wait, they actually brought in 3-star recruits Okay, can I go back to Whitewater? No, Whitewater's also trying to fill their program. So I think it's a case by case situation. Don't do it just to chase the money. Do it to seize an opportunity that you earned.
That's it. By the way, that kid, I don't care how much that kid is making in NIL to spend 50 grand on your quarterback. Um, I don't think he quite realizes he has 60 years of life that he still has to live. And believe me, I've wasted my fair share of money over the years. I get it. When you're young, you feel like this money's going to be there forever. And but I never spent 50 grand. I may have been 50 grand on, a sports book back in the day. But on my quarterback for his leadership, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. So, but that just adds to these stories that are phenomenal with this team. Let me ask you this, and I don't want to insult this kid. I don't want to insult the school in any way. But do you think that some of the hype for him is because of his story and his family story, and that the media, it's such a feel good thing that the media doesn't want to separate? And I've seen a few high level analysts on social media that I've watched analyze his play. And there hasn't been one of these guys that have said or graded him out to over a third or fourth round pick. Do you think maybe it's the media that doesn't want to print or do anything negative about this kid because everything else is so incredibly positive?
Yeah, I think there's something to be said there. Let's look at the 2020 NFL draft. The media got dragged because they had to come up with human interest stories for every first round pick. Why? Because the entire world was shut down due to a pandemic. So we needed something to talk about. And given the state of where the NFL and college football really align, is quarterbacks drive everything. That's why there's a quarterback going to Texas Tech next year making $5 million in NIL money. It is a quarterback driven sport. So when you have a franchise like the Raiders who need a quarterback in a class of very weak quarterbacks, Fernando Mendoza has the Heisman, he has the accolades, he has the story, and I believe that's why he's a number one pick.
No doubt about it. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. All right, a couple of other topics before we get out of here. And for those of you that are new to this podcast, we only go about 20, 25 minutes every day. This is just to support the morning show. So there are a lot of openings in the NFL as far as head coaches are concerned. There's going to be a lot of coaches that are going to make a lot of money. We saw the breakdown on X yesterday of McDermott. He's still owed over $24 million, I think, something like that. It's crazy. $1 million a month. Congratulations, Sean. But some interesting choices. The Dolphins are finalizing a deal with the Packers defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley. Don't know a lot about him, but Tennessee. This one is very, very surprising. And apparently, Robert Saleh, I really don't know how his last name's actually pronounced, but he must have done the most amazing sell job of his time in New York with the Jets, where I kind of compare him to Raheem Morris and Todd Bowles and all these defensive guys that have no clue how to actually run a team, the whole team, because he was not a good head coach in New York. And then Kyle Shanahan brings him right back because what's he great at, Mikey? He's great at being a defensive coordinator. He spends this season, and then he's going to go to Tennessee and be their next head coach. Does this surprise you in any way, shape, or form? Because it does me.
Coach, do you see the smile I have on my face? Like we didn't get into it this season because the Bears had such a surprising year. I absolutely love Robert Saleh. Like love him. Second greatest bald man I know behind yours truly. I listen. The things in New York that didn't work out is they put no structure around him. When I look at whether you believe he's a long-term franchise quarterback, Cam Ward has talent. So if
Yeah.
you can just bring in an offensive mind to run the show, I look at one guy specifically on the Titans, Jeffrey Simmons, their all-pro defensive tackle. That man is going to get taken to a whole nother level behind Robert Saleh. I love his attitude. I love his slogan, all gas, no brakes. Not a tattoo, never will be. I love everything about Robert Saleh. I cannot wait to start to cheer for the Titans on the side if that's allowed.
No, we cheer for nothing in Tennessee. Nothing here at the. By the way, I thought it was Jacob Fatu that said all gas, no brakes. I thought that was Jacob Fatu.
Well, if it's them two, I don't think Robert Saleh is a tribal thief. So I think you let Jacob Fatu do what he
Okay.
wants to do. But Robert Saleh said it first.
I just, man, I've learned this from Coach Phil that you can't believe the headlines. There's a lot like he thinks Kyle Shanahan is the best coach in the NFL, and then I saw a guy lose his mind on X last night. There's this coach that I love his podcast. I would love to bring him on the show, but I'm afraid the FCC would shut us down because he swears so much and uses a lot of language that our audience probably wouldn't appreciate. But man, he went off on Kyle Shanahan last night. And he was like, if McDermott's getting fired, if the Ravens Harbaugh's getting, he goes, why isn't Kyle Shanahan getting fired? What if they, you know what? There's something to be said. They've had success, but he hasn't won the big one. Every big one comes, they lose. So it's going to be fascinating. And Saleh, for me, I just have that taste in my mouth. And I know you love him, but we can blame a lot of things. We can blame structure. We can blame whatever. But some of the best coaches, when they come in, they figure that structure out. Or they come in and they're so strong as an organizational person. This is why I don't think Dan Campbell's a great head coach. Is why there's a lot of coaches that are great. And I felt that way about Robert Saleh. If he deserves a second chance, hell, Raheem Morris did 14 years apart. Todd Bowles. Those are two names that you're like, what? So if you are on the inside of this thing, awesome. And congratulations. But we still have the Bills. We still have the Ravens. By the way, I saw that the second runner-up for this Titans job was Matt Nagy. And that's when I knew that I'm living in La La Land. Matt Nagy's never been a good coach. He was your head coach. He was our offensive guy. But my God, at some point, you are who you are. At some point, you are who you are. And these guys are getting third, fourth, fifth chances?
Well, are you happy for the reunion that is happening in Kansas City now?
He's a good coordinator.
Well, no, Nagy was expected. He was the leading guy, the leading candidate for Tennessee. Robert Saleh must have just sold them, little house on the prairie. But Eric Bieniemy is now coming back to Kansas City to be the offensive coordinator. They just poached him away from the Bears.
Fantastic. That's where he was best at.
Yep.
When he went to Washington, I told everybody, because I have insight, I said players did not like him enough to make him that. And he went, and he will be under Andy Reid. And I promise you, if Andy Reid walks, the new head coach is not going to have Eric Bieniemy. They have like OC by committee in Kansas City. Andy Reid really calls the plays. And then you've got another guy that kind of puts the whole thing together, and that'll be Eric Bieniemy. So, yeah, I like the fact because their offense has not been great since he left. Could be weapons, could be whatever. But, all right, not a whole lot tonight. By the way, probably starting in February for those watching right now, we'll start our premium pop-ups again. We've got a lot of stuff we're trying to put together here at the brand. So, for those of you who are premium members, hold tight. We'll start those again. On the BTT side, if you want to be a premium member, I promise you, you're going to want all that. New watch-alongs, new matches that Big Tommy C was a part of. So we're working hard for you guys. I promise you, you'll like all the content as we come out of, what do we call it, Mikey? I don't even know what it's felt like the last 3 weeks, but it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work. But it's going to be exciting once we are able to announce it and get everything out there and just go to work and not worry about outside stuff. I'm looking forward to that. I really am.
I can't wait. I'm ready to run through a wall. I'm so ready.
Me too. All right. I got to go get ready for my afternoon show Off the Road on Sirius XM, channel 156, 2 p.m. Eastern time today. By the way, if you didn't watch Coach and Bro yesterday, watch it on demand. It's a really, really good episode. For now, though, for Mikey P, for producer man, I am the coach. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Coach and Company podcast. Have a great day.